no fats, no fems. Guys, I have a lot to say, but first I'm going to tell you a story. So I am single, if anybody was willing and wanting to mingle, but I don't look this good to not post pictures on the internet. So I'm on Grindr, right? I am on Grindr. I am on Tinder. I'm on Bumble. I'm on Tayami. I'm on several other dating apps probably. Hilly. I've tried Hilly. It's fun, I guess, if you like terrible men. But I was on Grindr. I like Grindr. Grindr used to be one of my favorite social networking platforms for several different reasons. One of which is there were handsome gentlemen on there. Were. Okay? So I'm on there. Grindr? I barely know her. Grindr. Okay? I'm on Grindr. And somebody messages me. It's a blank profile. I don't typically engage with blank profiles unless they will send me a message with a photo of their face within the first few messages, because I'm not trying to get to know someone and then them be, you know, ugly. I don't, or, you know, maybe not ugly, but maybe not attractive to me, which is perfectly okay and fine and normal, I think. I want to know who I'm talking to. I'm not into faceless, right? So like when I get these faceless daddies, these guys, and I get usually the clientele in my, you know, DMs are faceless, I will be like, hi, face picture. In fact, that's usually the first thing that I say is like, hey, face pic. Face pic, please. Can I see your face? You know, and I try to keep it real and nice and fun and fresh. And if they say no, I don't do that, I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna out you. That's mean and unethical, whatever. So whenever they send the next message, right, they might not be my cup of tea. Some might say botched, some might say ugly. I'll just say not for me, right? Normally, I don't waste my time with a reply if I'm not interested, because, now hear me out, they'll say something shady and mean, right? So in this circumstance, normally I would like, you know, just, I do this thing where I mute them. I love to mute a group chat, as you guys know, and I love to mute a guy on Grindr. I'll just mute you. But like, this is problematic for me because usually when you back out of the message on Grindr, you get an ad, right? Everybody hates the ads on Grindr, and I don't have $5,000 per month to pay for premium. So I will just mute. Usually I flick away the app and mute. But in this context, I did not do that. Somebody messaged me. It was like a hey situation, you know, like, hey, could you send me a face picture? They sent me a photo. Now, this man was not an ugly man. I just thought this man was a diva.
Yas Queen, Skinny Legend, Versace Boots, The House Down, Slay Queen, Hunty Mama, and Oop Daddy Work, Charlie XCX, Snatch My Wig.
I thought this man was a doll. Not a doll like myself, but I thought that he perhaps leaned into his feminine energy, which is totally fine and totally normal and totally okay. I am okay with all of those things. Personally, I am not super attracted physically to people that are super femme presenting, right? And that's not even to say this person was super femme presenting, but I will say also I like more beefy men and hairy masculine presenting men. I guess burly men would be a good definition. So I wasn't really attracted to him in a, you know, physical compatibility kind of way. So I messaged back after he sent me his photo and I said, slay diva, because this person was not only femme presenting, right? This person was also wearing, actually, I probably would have worn this. It was a cute zip-up jacket and it had little hearts all over it and was pink. It wasn't quite hot pink like this, but it was more of like a baby pink, you know? And I was like, okay, diva, work, doll. And normally I wouldn't even respond, because normally if I'm not attracted, if you're a femme, I don't care who you are, fat, femme, whatever, don't care. If I'm not attracted to you, I'm not going to text you back. And I like bigger bodies. I like some femme bodies as well. I'm just saying that I was not personally attracted to this person. So I was like, maybe I'll make a new friend. And I'm like, I can't I don't have screenshots of this. But I will say, I think this person had friendship and networking in their little thing. Because I read Grindr profiles before I message. Because mine says, please do not send me unsolicited photos of your because I don't want to see that. I mean, consent, but like, maybe, but I don't want to see that unsolicited. Don't just like, if I haven't seen your face, I don't know your name or middle name, why do I want to see that? Hello? Why do I want to see that, right? So this person messages me and I say, slay diva, because they are a diva. It was like one photo. And they said, what do you mean? I was like, your outfit is slay. Like, hello? I'm trying to be nice. And then they said, stay with me. Then they said, F you look like a man anyways. And they blocked me.
I'm so glad that you came.
I always keep my word.
I just think that might be uncalled for. I think that might be obscene and rude. I think that might be a little...
Emergency maneuvers! Get out of there!
I don't know that was polite. I don't know that was giving the same energy as Slay Diva. I don't know that was giving the same energy as like a slaying diva would give. So maybe he was trying to overcorrect with the masculine energy. And so apparently I was giving masculine energy, which, mind you, maybe I am. Maybe I do. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I am giving butch realness. That's okay. Maybe I was the first brick thrown at Stonewall. Maybe that's okay as well. I'm just saying, how are you going to attack me for trying to be positive? And I understand maybe there is like this person had some apprehensions against their own femininity, and maybe they were self-conscious because maybe they were also like a very skinny person, and maybe they like, weren't comfortable with their body fully, and like that's okay too. But like, what does that have to do with me? Like, I'm like, okay. And also, you were the one that messaged me first. You messaged me first. So you're telling me you want to, fornicate? You want to mess around? You want to get with the doll? You want to play? You want to have playtime? You want to have playtime. And I'm not saying I'm a 10 by any means, okay? I don't think I've ever realistically said that I'm a 10. But I am going to say to you here and now that in my area, I'm a solid 8. Okay, for the dolls. There's some bricky girls. There's some boogers out here. There's some CDs out here that they could use some help from this doll. Let me tell you, because I paint. I'm painted. I paint my face, okay? And I know what I'm doing. I feel like I have style. I feel like I am a good style.
And you have this person.
I feel like I have great style, okay? And I don't care what you say. I don't care what you have to say about it, because let's see a picture of you, actually. And whenever you're hotter than me,
I don't like you.
Then we'll talk. But guys, I was annoyed and frustrated by this, and it kind of like, it didn't hurt my feelings because, like, as you guys know, go to my Facebook comments, you'll see a bunch of hate. People like to say things on there. But people are pretty frequently saying hateful things to me, and that's totally fine. It's the internet. It's not a very nice place. But I thought it was wild because you're going to go from wanting to sleep with me, and then I wasn't, like, yes, I wasn't interested, but I was trying to let you down easy, and then you come at me that way. And it's the same no fats, no fems ideology, the mindset, the misogyny, all of these things that are, like, amalgamated, intertwined, conjoined, all this, like, stuck together to make this societal thing that perpetuates down from cis straight men down into the queer community of FAGs. So I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to just say that, like, we could have been friends, buddy, diva. We could have had a good time. We could have been besties, because nobody likes me. But that's not the point here. The point here is not that everybody doesn't like me. The point here is that you don't like yourself. And that has nothing to do with the doll that may or may not look like a Ken, okay? So maybe you should check your privilege, okay? And maybe you should get a grip on yourself. You know, maybe you should get a grip on your self. You know, maybe you should be okay with yourself, and maybe you shouldn't be the one that's hiding online. Maybe you shouldn't be the one that's too scared to show your face because you're ashamed of who you are. Maybe that's the tea. I don't know the politician's name, and I'm forgetting it. I'm drawing a blank right now. But there was a politician whose husband recently, photos leaked of them being a CD. And I'm sorry, I'm talking in terminology that is like a little more censored because of like the subject matter. I'm not trying to get YouTube to betray me because the algorithm, we broke up. Me and the algorithm, yeah, the algorithm doesn't like Miss Jessica Vesper very much. And that's okay, but I feel like all of my stuff is very censored. I just should say that this man, his photos were leaked of him crossed. Now, it is my understanding that this politician as well as this man are very right-wing people and also actively, you know, hate and try to undermine queerness, putting it mildly, right? So it's interesting to me when and things like this come forward and people like are outed really as people that like to play on their downtime but don't like to support. And this was giving that to me, and just seeing it in such a public eye and public scope of things is really disheartening. And I've seen a lot of cyberbullying about this. Like, I don't know that it's really ethical to be like, I've seen some dances and like things, I've seen tweets and like all kinds of stuff. I try not to read it because it's like, though it's an important topic, I don't know that I need to be bullying this one person. Obviously, that person is going through something horrible internally. Obviously, he should not be persecuting people like me. How could you persecute someone like me? How? Like how? You know, like how could you do that? But they should be, you know, thinking of their wife and kids. And I'm not saying you can't cross in the bedroom. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with not supporting and then doing all these things online that you perceive as phallic, and then you're going to persecute them in law? Seems a little weird. Also, cheating if you're in a monogamous relationship and you have discussed that you are in a committed monogamous relationship, maybe you shouldn't cheat. Actually, don't cheat. Actually, don't do that. You know? Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't do that. So, I don't know. No fats, no fems. No fats, no fems. And also for the big girls. Like, I have been, you guys might think I'm wearing kind of an oversized shirt today. I'm like a skinny mini. Oh, I'm a skinny mini, you know? I'm super skinny. Like, I'm like 120 right now. So, like, super skinny. Obviously. But I have been in a bigger body many times in my life. And I'm not talking about my significant other. I'm talking about my body that I live in. Okay? I've been in a bigger body most of my life. And I've also been ugly before. You heard it here first. I've been ugly. Okay? And there's been many times in my life I've been botched and ugly. And before I transitioned, when I was living as a man, like, I don't want to look like that. No. So, like, I fixed it, okay? I fixed it. I could fix some more things, but we gotta get this video up to 10 million likes and then we'll talk, you know? But I'm just saying that there's a lot of disrespect for the fat guys and girls. There's a lot, like, if you're, is fat a slur now? Like, if you're in a bigger body, if you're large, if you're fat, if you're chubby, if you're chunky, unless you're a hairy bear with a nice face and muscles, usually in the queer world, you're hated on. And, you know, in straight world, like, Lord forbid you be a woman and be 5 pounds overweight. You know, Lord forbid, because people will ridicule you. They will come for you. And they will try to end your existence. My face online on a specific Facebook video that I posted as a short got so much hate. It got 5 hate comments and no engagement from anybody that actually liked it, which is fine. I'm not talking like about my engagement. Like, I get bad engagement sometimes. It's part of it. The algorithm hates me. But what I thought was funny when I was seeing it, I was like, my face alone, it was not even what I said. my face alone these people off so much that they commented vile things. They were influenced to comment vile things about me because my actual face was so ugly. It made them mad. Humbling. Very humbling, you know, that's a humbling moment for the doll, I think. So I just wanted to say here first, no fats, no fems in my DMs, please. No, I'm kidding. I actually love big people. Some of my best friends, like, are huge. Tia and Tamara, you know what I'm saying? So, huge. And you know what else is huge? My love for you. I'm just saying, I love big hairy men. I love big smooth men. I love big girls. I wouldn't personally be with a big girl. Not because I don't like the big girls. It's because I don't like girls. Like, maybe like 3% like girls. You know what I'm saying? So, and the femmes, I love femme divas. I just don't necessarily want to be with a femme diva, you know, because I'm the femme diva. You know, there's too much diva. Too much diva and not enough, too much diva and not enough time. You know what I'm saying? So, I've had many interactions like this over the years. It was just, I was vulnerable and took the time to be kind to somebody. At least I thought I was being. And then it came back at me and it came in my face. You know what I'm saying? Like, it came back at me and bit me, okay? It gave me something I didn't want. It gave me the clap, okay? You know what I'm saying? I don't have that. That was a joke. I'm just saying, maybe we should have fats and femmes. Maybe we should have more empathy for others. Maybe we should have more compliments. Maybe we shouldn't reply to people on the internet because they're mean. Maybe. I'll reply to you. Leave me a comment. That's all I wanted to say today. I hope that's fine. I hope that we like the new location. I hope that we like the no bangs. It's windy today. It's really windy today, and I have things to do. And if you see me online in any capacity, including now, be nice to me. I'm fragile. So, not sponsored. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.